What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. They're linked as always in the description to this video, so go ahead and check them out there. So we've got all risks possible in the Gulf states for today. We've already got some storms ongoing, getting spit up onto land, and so we're going to talk about the setup. And then into later tonight, we could potentially see more storms developing through the Central Plains, and that's going to continue into tomorrow's risk, where we could see some large hail in the mix, as well as wind and tornadoes. So we're going to get all of it in a second here, but check us out at the Atlas All-Star Stadium Tour. It's going to be all summer, so you guys have plenty of chances to see us, but it starts today in Minneapolis, and then it's going to run all the way through August 17th at a bunch of other locations listed here. If you guys want more info on that, it's in our stories if you want to see what cities we're coming to, but Derek is going to be one of the keynote speakers at that. We're going to have some giveaways, so lots of fun and lots of chances to come say hello. So come do that at our All-Stars Stadium Tour. Then today we are going to continue to have those same two systems set up across the U.S. We have that first one that's again rotating here and bringing those storms from the Gulf up onto land in the southeast. And then we have the second trough that's getting ready to advance into the Central Plains with some storm potential into tonight, and then the bulk of it tomorrow evening as the main part of this trough with its cold front start to make its push through the Central Plains and Mississippi Valley. Now this first system is still interacting some with this second. It's still limiting how much heat and moisture return we have gotten so far in the central and southern plains. So unfortunately, that does mean that it's going to affect our storm potential if setup continues as it is, because this guy is kind of taking its time to get out of the way. So we'll see what we can get in the southern plains, but right now we've got some solid setup over the northern plains where that cold front meets that dry line, and so that'll help us out. But we'll see how much we can get into the southern plains as we're working with that cap now. Now into Saturday, that's going to have moved out of the way, and we'll have the rest of this trough getting ready to make its way through the southeast and the Ohio Valley. So we should have more storms on the way for Saturday into your Sunday as that trough lingers through that area. But for right now, this is kind of the issue with any storms through the Central Plains. It's also the issue for you guys in the southeast. We've got a tornado watch in the area for the southern part of Georgia ongoing right now for a couple of short-lived scattered tornadoes possible with any of those bands you see forming and pushing up onto the coast and inland. Now, that's going to intensify later today, and we'll talk about it, but that's that system that's, again, spinning away right now and blocking anything from the Central Plains here, where we've got clear skies, we've got beautiful weather, but not quite enough of that moisture return, which is really what we need in the southern plains to see that large hail. So we'll wait, we'll see what we can get. But right now, sitting in the mid-70s for a lot of us out east. Getting a little warmer once you're in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A little warmer even in New York, almost 90 degrees in New York and Miami. Cooling down as you get west of the Rocky Mountains. There's the system again. There's that water vapor spinning away. Now it looks a little different than yesterday because we got that dry air that's starting to move into the area. And then all that heat and humidity is getting pulled in now from the Atlantic with that system. So we're going to see it continue into today as it continues to stream that moisture in from the Atlantic, but now this dry air should cut off more of the severe weather that's forming to the west. So that's the main takeaway for today, but those wind gusts are going to be packing a punch. There we are by 2:30 p.m. Already seeing plenty of areas pushing over, 30, 40 miles an hour, some nearing 50. And then into later tonight, going to potentially see more storms forming along the, well, I guess just in front of the Rocky Mountain range, like the plains area right out in front of that, high plains. Going to see some storms forming along that and pushing down those high winds into this evening and tonight through that area. And again, we could see some gusts pushing 60 up that way. So for today, for the southeast, this is what those storms are going to look like as they intensify by around 3 p.m., so just a couple hours from now. Going to see plenty of cells forming all the way from Birmingham down through Macon into Jacksonville, and all of those have the potential to produce all risks. So hail, wind, and tornadoes, especially with anything that stays isolated. Now with those bands, we could see more high wind gusts, again over 60 miles an hour. And that's going to continue all down the Florida coast, and that system's working its way up northward into the coastal Carolinas by 7 p.m. tonight. And it's just going to kind of continue to linger that way, working its way up north for our risk for tomorrow. And we'll get into that in a second. Then up into the plains, starting out really quiet, but then we'll have these storms that form all the way from pretty much Amarillo up into the Colby, Kansas area, making their way, into the east and starting to get more coverage as they do. None of them look crazy mean on radar, not really a hail risk with those, not super organized, but again, some pretty high winds that those could potentially push down to the surface. So, if you guys are in that area, time to secure those lawn chairs, that patio furniture into tonight as that starts to make its way through. So for our hail forecast, keeping it limited to the southeast, wouldn't be surprised if we got some golf balls into today with any of those isolated storms, but mostly quarters to half dollars for us all the way from, again, Birmingham down into the coastal part of Florida here. So low end chances across the board. It's going to be scattered, but there is still a chance for some hail into this afternoon and evening. Then including our Central Plains area for our wind risk as well as the southeast. Now if you guys are, again, Birmingham, Atlanta, extending it a little bit eastward into Columbia and then down through Melbourne, got a chance to see some gusty winds. And where that line forms, that's where you have a better chance to see some strong winds, potentially blowing some stuff around. So Montgomery, Jacksonville, Melbourne, and anywhere in between could potentially see some high winds with that system. Then off into the Central Plains, going to be pretty scattered, so low ends across the board, but anywhere from North Platte down to Amarillo could also get some damaging wind gusts into this evening and tonight. Then for our tornado threat, still a chance for that with any isolated cells down in the southeast. So if you guys are in any of those highlighted areas, you got a chance to see a short-lived storm here or there. It's going to be pretty scattered, fortunately. But again, where that band is, where we have the greatest coverage of storms into this afternoon, that's where you got a moderate chance. So anywhere from Dothan to Tallahassee, Jacksonville, you got a better chance than most in the region to potentially see a short-lived tornado in the area. So then into tomorrow, we're going to see that same system continue to lift up into the coastal Carolinas, making its way towards Virginia. Still seeing those scattered storms developing by around 5 p.m. Eastern. Any of those could potentially produce hail and wind. Then tracking up into Virginia, the eastern part of the coastal Carolinas, by around 5 in the morning, going to see those start to taper off. So it should be the end of the risk for tomorrow for that one system. Then down into the south, this one will have the chance to intensify now. Now here we have our cap on here, because that's going to really play a critical role into tomorrow, is how that cap works, especially in Oklahoma and Texas. So how far south that line can form depends on if this cap will break and if those storms can push south. Right now, only got some cap erosion in like Nebraska, Kansas, and that's where you're seeing those storms form by around 6 p.m., spreading down south. But then look at that, it looks like it's starting to build back that cap in Oklahoma and Texas. So if we get more humidity, more heat, that'll help erode that. So we need it to be really hot and humid in Oklahoma and Texas tomorrow for this line to make its way south. It's possible that that could happen, but right now we're looking at storms mostly centered in Nebraska and northern Kansas with that large hail threat moving off to the east before we finally see this start to taper off and storms will push south into Saturday. So for tomorrow's hail forecast, going to include that region just to see if that cap breaks, and we'll update this tomorrow, so you guys will have more information. Make sure to tune in on Friday. But going to keep our hail risk for the east, the coastal areas, and then also all the way through the Central Plains from just the Minneapolis-Iowa border all the way down into central Texas. So if you guys are out east, again, scattered like it is today, so low end chances for you guys to see quarters to half dollars from Atlanta to Charlotte to Roanoke. Then out into the Central Plains, you got the best chance if you guys are anywhere from Lincoln to Salina, even Topeka, could see some hail. And with those initial storms developing, it could be some large hail, 2.5 inches is possible into tomorrow. Then all the way down into Oklahoma City, Wichita, Dallas, keeping you on the low end for the aforementioned reasons, but there is still a potential that you guys could get some hail into tomorrow, so we don't want to discount that quite yet. Then into our wind risk. Going to be pretty much the same areas and same reasonings here. So if you guys are in Virginia all the way down to Georgia and South Carolina, you guys have a chance to see some scattered wind gusts into tomorrow afternoon. And then Des Moines, Kansas City, Wichita, low end chances for you into Lincoln and Salina. That's where you guys got a moderate chance to see some severe gusts into tomorrow. And Oklahoma City, Dallas, low end chance. Not zero, but low for right now. Then last but not least, into our tornado forecast for tomorrow, the only place that really has enough rotation combined with those storms potentially moving through is going to be southern Kansas to north central Oklahoma. So for Oklahoma City, Wichita, and Salina, you guys are in our risk for tornadoes for tomorrow. And we're going to have updates for you guys on the southern end of that risk, particularly depending on how the weather starts out tomorrow. But then, once that cap does break into Saturday, we're going to see those storms pushing south into East Texas, then forming that nice line there all the way through the Mississippi Valley. We've got all risks on the table as that drives off to the east and produces more severe weather for the start of your weekend. So, could potentially be an active few days here. There's our look-ahead forecast for you guys all the way from the upper Midwest down into East Texas with those storm potential. Now the farther north you go, the more windy it's going to be. The further south you go, the more potential you have for hail into Saturday. And again, we'll update you tomorrow. But it could, again, be a pretty busy few days for the plains as we start up tonight and then work our way through the storms tomorrow and into the weekend. So go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. Smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can scan that QR code up above me in the banner there and get a demo of our products or sign up. You can also call us if you want to find out more at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And we'll see what we get into today and tomorrow, and we'll keep you updated on your forecast as always. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.